One of the biggest questions people have when they come to see me is, what chapter in the bankruptcy code is going to be right in my case? I'm just going to cover a few of the main points so that you kind of get an idea. This determination is best made with me in my office, but there are some basic guidelines that will give you an idea of where we're headed. Chapter 7s are best if you don't have real high income and if you don't have assets that you're not willing to lose. When we talked about Chapter 7, we talked about how sometimes you lose assets if they have equity in them. If in fact you don't want to lose anything and you do have assets with value, then we would want to choose a Chapter 13 case. Chapter 7 works best if you either don't own anything or if you don't mind losing the stuff you do have, or if everything you own is exempt and making it so that you don't have to lose it. Generally, the things that are exempt are going to include $2,500 in a vehicle, $20,000 equity in a house, all of your ordinary and required household furnishings and clothing, and most of those kinds of small things that you need to live. If you have other things like four-wheelers or snowmobiles or antiques or things of value, firearms, things that you don't want to lose, then you'll need to make sure you let me know. We'll make a list of them and we'll make sure that we file a Chapter 13, help you pay as little as possible, but help you keep the things you really want to keep. The next thing that's going to help us decide what chapter to file under is going to be your income level. If you make under the average amount for your household size, then a Chapter 7 is always appropriate in your case. If you make over the average income level, we have to do about 8 pages of math to determine whether you qualify for a Chapter 7. If in fact you do, we can still file under Chapter 7 even though you make more. If after those 8 pages of math, the formula says that you're allowed to file. If you don't qualify for a Chapter 7 under that formula, then you have to file under Chapter 13. And normally a Chapter 13 is set up to help you have a monthly payment that you know you can afford, so it still works out all right. Some other reasons why people end up filing Chapter 13 as opposed to Chapter 7 is if they have back taxes or back child support or alimony for which they're being garnished and they want to stop that garnishment and pay it in a small monthly payment. You can include back taxes and child support in a Chapter 13 plan. A Chapter 7 won't get rid of them and simply leaves you open to being garnished again at the minute bankruptcy is over with. Another reason why people file Chapter 13 over Chapter 7 is that debts ordered to be paid in a divorce decree are dischargeable in Chapter 13, but not dischargeable in Chapter 7. So if you were ordered to protect your ex-wife or ex-husband in a divorce, you can get rid of that promise to protect them in a Chapter 13, but you can't get rid of that promise to protect them in a Chapter 7. Some final things. Chapter 7s are a little bit more money up front, and sometimes that influences people. But Chapter 13s are always more money in the long run. So it's usually best if you come and see us, talk with us about the pressures that are causing you to need to file and how fast we have to get it done, and talk about maybe making some payment arrangements in a Chapter 7 rather than allow a few $100s to stand between us and filing a 7 if that's really what's best for you. If not, a Chapter 13 will still always stop all of your creditors dead in their tracks, and if it's the only way we can go, then sometimes that's best anyway. So taking all of these things into consideration, the best thing to do is call our office, set a time, come and see me. We'll review all of your assets, income, expenses, and debts. And I can let you know for sure in your circumstances whether a 7 or a 13 is going to be best for your individual bankruptcy.